Hello again. Welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. I'm here joined by Matthew Grassi this week. Thanks for joining me, Matthew.
Thank you for having me. It's
Yeah,
been a
that's
while,
great.
Paul.
We sent Eric off on vacation to Disneyland. Disneyland? Is that where he went? I can't even remember.
Wow.
No, he didn't go. He went to Kalahari,
Kalahari,
which is
yeah.
over by Sandusky, just up the lake. And it's a good thing because we just got like 2 or 3 inches of snow this morning. It's April, whatever it is, the first week of April.
Yeah, Tribe opens up tomorrow, and
Yes, that's right.
30, 40 mile per hour winds, snow, and it's baseball in Cleveland. So.
Yeah, but they weren't having much luck playing in California, so they're probably
Yep.
better off coming back, even if it's among the snowflakes. So it's a kind of a quieted down week in most of the Midwest. I think the snow and the moisture pretty much came across and slowed everyone down a bit in terms of getting spring work done. But again, there's I guess a couple things going on. You know, some of the things that we've kind of self-generated, and we started up a relationship with a gentleman named Corey Wellness up in Canada.
Good old Corey.
Yeah, Corey's been a real source of information and an opinion for us. So I actually gotten in a bit of a tiff with him over LinkedIn back and forth, and finally it came out. Imagine that. So it came down to okay, if you're so smart, how about you let me do a profile of you on a cover story, and turned out that was a pretty popular feature. So that went really well. But now he's looking to contribute a little bit more, but I think the main points he's making are the same things that we're saying at Precision Ag Professional, our sister brand, is getting back to the basics and really not just looking at something very surfacey, which a lot of these companies have, when you're looking at some of the I guess the VC stuff that's been going on, and looking at tight variables and trying to make decisions on 1 or 2 things. This is Corey's saying you really can't look at imagery in a very basic sense and say, well, the biomass looks great, must be okay, or the biomass looks weak, it's not so good. I don't know. I think you were working on getting Corey in, weren't you? Or working with? Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
He's Corey's been with us ever since the cover story, and we hear from him quite a bit. He's a great industry source for us to have. I think his main argument is kind of advocating that boots on the ground. You can't algorithm agriculture kind of deal, and sure, there's these companies that are providing recommendations and building zones off of stuff like satellite imagery, as you say, and other things, but in Corey's opinion, and I believe we share that opinion, it's more than that, and you got to have that boots on the ground, real agronomy experience to make this work.
Yep. Absolutely. So it's good stuff. Hopefully we'll see that if you go to precisionag.com and Precision Ag Professional section. We just ran something on the newsletter this week featuring him. Did a lot of work with a new program we're starting on Monday. So after this weekend, a Monday morning, for those of you that get Precision Ag or Crop Life e-News, you'll get a Dicamba Daily update. So we were just been overwhelmed with some of the information that we put together on Dicamba in terms of what retailers are going to have to keep in mind, how they're going to have to instruct retailers, or how the retailers are going to have to talk to growers about this, and how this is all going to unfold. And so we had a conference call with some folks from Purdue, Fred Whitford, who's really a prominent person going out and doing the kinds of training that needed to be done. But we had a really great conference call with him in terms of all the stuff that's out there.
It's extensive. I don't know how these applicators keep it all straight, but I know that there's some great people and great companies that are working on that and making sure that 2018 goes a little bit smoother, as Eric wrote the other day on Crop Life, than what we had in 2017 with Dicamba. So.
Well, you hope it's
fingers
better.
crossed.
Yeah, we're trying to preserve this technology, and retailers are they're in the middle. It's really going to be in a lot of ways up to them and how they do their work, and how they communicate what growers need to do. And growers make unreasonable demands and sometimes don't understand all the technicalities when it comes to what's needed. And one of the things that's really amazing is how few, if you look from last year's label to this year's label, and the changes, how few days, and they just used Indiana as an object lesson on this, is in terms of how many days you're actually on the label when you're applying based on wind speed and rain and moisture and other things. So we'll be getting into that, and it's part of it's email. We'll be putting something out every day on Dicamba for you to share with your folks internally, and just to, as reminders as to some of the things that are going to be really important. We'll definitely run that through the end of April. So that's pretty exciting. We've got the Precision Ag Accelerator, Precision Ag Professional Accelerator that we're working on. That's coming at the end of June. We really got, I think, the agenda set at precisionagaccelerator.com. So we mentioned that Mike Bulgey's on board. We've got, I think I said, the whole program rounded out, and we're starting to have conversations with attendees about this, and so please take a look at that. And again, it's really focused on the business side as opposed to the agronomic side, and how it fits within the operation, and then how you communicate the benefits and value of precision to your customers as well.
That's really what it's all about, right, Paul?
Absolutely, absolutely. So anything else going on in the world you got?
Yeah, a lot of movement on e-commerce right now on the precision side of things.
Yeah.
Real briefly, FBN announced their expansion up north into Canada, so they acquired Yorkton Distributors in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. So that's a brick and mortar ag retailer up there that will be working with FBN, I think, to fulfill orders and kind of, and then they will have a 10-member team stationed at High River, Alberta. And they're claiming they have about 1.8 million acres, Canadian acres, in their system now. Put in their total North American acreage at 21 million. But so that broke on Thursday last week, and then over the weekend, of course, we had the president coming out very strongly against the world leader in e-commerce, Amazon, and that was fun on Twitter. But and then yesterday we got some news that a friend of ours, Alexander Reichart with AgVend, who are marketing themselves as kind of the answer, the ag retail answer to FBN and their e-commerce efforts. They secured their first round of funding, $1.75 million, to help them kind of work through this season and get some growers and retailers on board and get their platform out there in ag retail. So a lot of movement on e-commerce, and I unfortunately for President Trump, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's stopping. Of course, there's the other thing that's going on, of course, is that no one can really predict right now. Is there a trade war? Is there a trade war? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know, apparently. But it seems like sure smells like a trade war, and it looks like a trade war. So maybe it would be a trade war. But it's honestly, it's not a laughing matter. It's very serious for everyone in the Midwest. We're talking about soybeans, and of course, in specialty crops and nuts and fruits and some of the things that they're talking about. We've seen lots of things coming across the wire from the commodity groups talking about, let's please bring this under control. Let's stop this immediately. So I think agriculture is doing everything it can, and it always has. It's always been in the room when we've had negotiations, when it's always been open to discussion. So hopefully cooler heads prevail and we'll get through this.
Yeah, at Commodity Classic earlier this month, there was just a whole, theme of open trade and farmers kind of getting behind these trade agreements and demonstrating that we want to preserve these foreign markets for moving product to, and yeah,
it's kind of rough, but keep fighting a good fight. Well, I think that's it for this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for joining me, Matthew. And
thank you for having me, Paul. Love being here, and I'll heed the seat next week back to Eric. I think he'll be back in.
I think he is. Yep. I don't know. Maybe he'll just take another week off.
Stay at the indoor water park up there.
There's no reason to go outside right now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.